Hey everyone, this is your 3.1 should do video. In this video, we're going to be talking about themes in Of Mice and Men. So I'm going to go over 4 main themes for you to be watching for as you read the book. And as you watch this video, there's some notes for you to be taking in your packet as well. So what themes are important in this book? Remember that theme is defined as a main idea or an underlining meaning of a literary work, which is conveyed by an author and interpreted by us, the reader. So if you think about the play that we all read in first semester, A Raisin in the Sun, what would some themes be that connect to that play? So I'm thinking about the character of Beneatha and how she was really trying to get in touch with her cultural identity. So you could say that a theme of A Raisin in the Sun is finding your identity or connecting to your heritage. There's also a lot of family conflict in the play, right? The family was fighting, they were fighting about money. So another theme could be overcoming family conflict or struggling financially, having financial hardships in your life. So these are main ideas, they're underlining meanings. Theme is something that is not always immediately identifiable. Sometimes we have to read between the lines in order to interpret what a theme is. And there's often a lot of different themes present in a work. So let's talk about 4 of the themes that you should be watching out for in Of Mice and Men. So an overall kind of idea that we are returning to from A Raisin in the Sun is this idea of the American dream. So remember that the American dream is this idea that any person in the US who's hardworking, who's dedicated, they should be able to achieve anything they want to achieve. They should be able to have happiness and fulfillment and make money and be successful. And when we read A Raisin in the Sun, remember that we talked about the American dream is not always possible for everyone in an equal way, right? So in A Raisin in the Sun, we looked at how racism can hold people back from achieving the American dream. In this book that we're reading, Of Mice and Men, we're going to think about, is the American dream possible in the historical context of the novel? So you learned that this novel is set in the Great Depression. Our characters are migrant workers, so they're struggling financially. Is the American dream possible for these 2 men who are traveling, looking for work, trying to make money for themselves and to survive? The first theme that we are talking about for Of Mice and Men that I want you to be tracking is the nature of dreams. So this sounds like kind of a big idea, but remember that question or the statement that was like, people shouldn't have big dreams and aspirations because they'll go nowhere in life. Do you agree with that or not? A lot of you said you did not agree with that statement, that you think having a big dream is a really worthwhile thing to have, that it helps you keep going through hard times. It's something to look forward to aspire to. So in essence, Of Mice and Men is as much a story about the nature of human dreams and aspirations and the forces that work against them as it is a story of 2 men. Humans give meaning to their lives and to their futures by creating dreams. Without dreams and goals, life is an endless stream of days that have little connection or meaning. George and Lenny, those are our 2 main characters in the book, their dream is to own a little farm of their own. And it's so central to Of Mice and Men that this idea appears in some form in 5 out of the 6 chapters in the book. So they're constantly talking about their dream, and their goal is to own their own farm someday. When you're thinking about the nature of dreams as a theme in this book, these are some good questions for you to ask about the text. Why do we dream of something better? Does this do us any good to have a dream or a goal? How can we dream in times of turmoil? Remember, turmoil just means like there's a lot of challenges and hardship going on. All right, our second theme that we're looking at is loneliness. So in addition to dreams, humans crave contact with others to give life meaning. Loneliness is present throughout the novel in many different characters. And some questions that you can consider when you're thinking about loneliness as a theme. How does being lonely affect people, and how can being part of a community help? How can we have community in times of turmoil? So this theme and these questions, they make me think about the loneliness that so many of us faced during the COVID-19 pandemic and quarantine. There were periods of time where we couldn't see our friends, where we couldn't see some of our family members. And so a lot of us faced loneliness, and I'm wondering if you found any communities that you were still able to be a part of during quarantine, if you had virtual communities that you could still meet with in any way, things like that. So you're going to see how loneliness and community impact the characters in Of Mice and Men. The third theme that you're looking at is powerlessness. So Steinbeck's characters are often the underdogs, meaning they don't have as much power, and he shows compassion toward them throughout the body of his writing. Powerlessness takes many forms: intellectual, financial, society, and Steinbeck touches on them all in this book Of Mice and Men. Some questions to think about with powerlessness. Do we all have the same amount of power to make our futures better? And who has more power and why? So this goes back to thinking about the American dream. Do we all have an equal opportunity, the same amount of power in order to make our dreams come true? Our final theme that we are going to be looking at in Of Mice and Men is fate. So life's unpredictable nature is another subject that defines the human condition. Just when it appears that George and Lenny will get their farm, that their dreams will come true, fate steps in. Steinbeck makes the reader wonder whether mankind should go alone in the world or be responsible and helpful to others who are less fortunate. So that is a theme that we are going to be seeing throughout Of Mice and Men. Some questions you can ask when you're thinking about the theme of fate. Are we predestined to a certain outcome? So that means a lot of people believe like our future is mapped out for us. We have a fate, we're destined for that fate, and we can't change it. But a lot of other people think that that is not true and that we control our own destiny. We could change our fate by our actions and our thoughts and our goals. And this connects to the second question: how much do we control our own future? So think about this in terms of the characters, George and Lenny. Are they controlling their own futures? Do they have a fate that is destined for them? These are the four main themes that we are looking at in Of Mice and Men. So you should have just taken some notes in your packet, and then there is a chart for you to actually look for examples of these themes in the first chapter. So you want to find 2 examples. They can be the same theme or different themes. Find a quote that connects to that theme and explain how the quote connects to that theme. If you have any questions, please let me know.